Good morning, all. We'll see your fourth unit today. To buy this book, check details in the description section. We'll see about the most emerging technology, that is the cloud computing and IoT concepts in this video. See, cloud computing, you need to know what is cloud computing and why we are using it, okay, before dealing it in detail. See, 10-20 years ago, suppose your organization, what they used to do is to store the students' records and your college information. They would buy servers and databases, everything they need, okay, of all the computing devices in advance, and they would store all the data in your college servers, okay. That is known as in-house deployment. But now what they do is the third party providers like your Amazon Web Services or Google, Microsoft, what they have come up with is they'll give all the servers and the softwares and everything you need. What you need to do is you need to have a high internet connection, and through the normal computers that you have in your organization, you will connect it to the cloud. Means you will connect it to their servers, that is the Amazon servers, and you will do work from there through your computer, okay. What you need is a high speed internet connection. So that is known as cloud services. So see, this is your cloud services. They'll give you all the hardware and softwares necessary for your organization. You need to have some machines like phones or computers, and you can access that data, okay. This is known as cloud computing. This will be very cheap for the organization because they are not paying for to buy hardwares and softwares. They'll only pay rent for using the cloud services, okay. So this will be cheap for them, and it will be profitable for the organizations as well. Now we'll see what are the advantages and disadvantages of cloud computing. Okay, see, we always, whatever data you store, that there will be a backup for the data, okay. So if the server fails, they'll have backup in another server, okay. So all that will be taken care by the service provider itself, okay. Then you'll have excellent accessibility, you'll low maintenance cost, you're paying very less money compared to what you would buy in advance. Then the mobility means you can access the data anywhere from your college or from your home if you have the login details, okay. Then pay per use model, it means that you are paying a kind of rent, like your electricity bill, how much you use, you pay for that, okay. Then storage capacity, initially you'll use less storage, and as the days goes by, you'll need more storage, right. All the expanding that storage, all those things will be taken care by the cloud service provider itself. And the security for your data also will be provided by them. Then it's high availability and reliability, means the servers will not go down as frequently as it would happen in your college, okay. So the cloud servers are more reliable. Then scalability means it's easy to grow or shrink in the sizes, means the database size you can access, you'll get how much ever you want, okay. Then multi-sharing, then device and location dependence, this we have already discussed, okay. Then comes your disadvantages of cloud computing. Disadvantage is that first you always need to have the internet connectivity. Without internet connectivity, you cannot access cloud services, okay. Then vendor lock-in. See, you are dependent on some service provider like Google, okay. So once you are tied up with them, you'll be using their services, right. You are logged in with that vendor. Then if you want to change to another vendor, it will take a lot of time, and it's a tedious task, okay. Then the limited control. Here you don't have control on the cloud services, means it is in third party's hand, okay. It's only on the trust and agreement basis that we trust them. You don't have the hardware in your campus, okay. That's the limited control. And the security. See, cloud always provides you the best security because they want to retain their name, but still instead of having it in your campus, it is somewhere in the world, the server is somewhere in the world, so that is also a security issue. Then we'll see cloud computing architecture. So how the cloud computing works, this is your client machine, okay. Then you need to connect through internet to your to the cloud services. All the management and security will be taken care by the cloud itself, cloud service providers. Then what all they give you, they'll give you the infrastructure. So like you can access their servers and databases. They'll give you storage, enough storage to store your data. Then they'll give you many types of service which we'll discuss later. They'll give you applications, and then the runtime cloud. This will help you to connect to your cloud. Okay, we'll discuss in detail later. We saw services in your cloud computing architecture, right? There are three types of services cloud provides, okay, which is best explained using pizza model. Suppose you want to you have cravings to eat pizza. What you will do? One is that you have your maida in your home, then prepare all the seasonings, then prepare it in your stove and eat it. That is known as in-house deployment. That is the traditional method which we have been following. Now what if you are using cloud services? What you can do is, see, someone will offer you a high-end kitchen, okay, they have microwave oven and everything, all the infrastructure they provide you. You'll get into their kitchen and then use your ingredients and prepare a pizza. That becomes the infrastructure as a service, okay, IaaS. This is your first type of cloud service, that is infrastructure as a service, where they are giving you all the infrastructure, means the hardware, the servers, the databases, those things, the infrastructure, so that you don't have to buy it to your campus. You don't have to give a space in your campus to place all those machines. Someone else will take care of it, okay, you only access it through your internet. That becomes your internet as a service. Now what is, suppose you don't have a kitchen, no one is offering you high-end kitchen, okay, you want to prepare it in your own home. What you will do, you'll go into the mall, you'll get the pizza base, you get the seasonings there, you buy everything, then come to your home and you prepare it. So now what services you are using? You are buying the seasonings and pizza base, right? So that becomes your platform as a service. Means they are giving you the operating systems and necessary tool to develop and test your applications. So if you don't have the proper tools, and if you have to do it all by yourself, it will take years, okay, sometimes. But you can do it in very less time if you have all the necessary tools that they'll provide you. That becomes your platform as a service, where they give you the operating systems and all the softwares and whatever, keeping in focus, they give you the environment for developing and testing your applications. Okay, then third comes for pizza, which is most frequently used method, is you just someone else will prepare for you, like Domino's or Pizza Hut. Someone else will prepare, you just order and buy it, you pay money and buy it. That becomes your software as a service, like your Gmail or Microsoft Word documents. See, they have already kept it ready for you. You just use their services, Gmail and all, you will just download and use it, right? That becomes your software as a service. These are the three deployment model, three types of services, okay. That is IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, then platform as a service, which is also known as PaaS, and third one is the software as a service, means SaaS, okay. These are the three types of services. Next comes your cloud deployment types, okay. There are four types of deployment. The first one is the public cloud. See, or the softwares like Gmail and many platform development, platform for your application development, many things are available in public domain, means general public, anyone can use it. That becomes your public cloud, okay. Then comes your private cloud. It means that, like, for your organization, only the people from your organization should be able to access it, and the data cannot be shared with any people other than people in that domain, okay. That becomes your private cloud, okay. Organizations and IT infrastructures, they always use private cloud model because they want more security. Then comes your hybrid cloud. Here what they do is, some services they'll use from the public domain, public cloud, okay. Some services like maybe Gmail they may use, and some they'll use from the private cloud, means for their sensitive data they'll use a separate cloud to place their data. That will not be accessible to anyone, okay. Those services will not be accessible. Then comes your community cloud. In community cloud, say people, suppose there are many hospitals like Apollo, Fortis and government hospitals. See, they all do a similar type of work, and they may want to exchange information between each other. So that they use community cloud, means people or organization from which are doing similar work, they can use a community cloud, okay. Means the data will be accessible only to that community and it will not be accessible to others. And another type of is I think I'm done with all the 4 type of deployment models. And now the cloud services which are which we commonly use is, the first one is the Google Drive. See, once you create a Google account, you'll get a 15 GB of free data provided by Google. Okay, so that 15 GB is in your Google. Here you can use Google Drive to store up to 15 GB of data. It may be photos, videos, or documents, or whatever you want to store. Okay, then is the Google Document Service. This is similar to Microsoft Word document. Google also provides you document to edit, to share the files, and many things. Okay, then comes your Google Colab. If you want to develop a Python applications in Python, then Google provides you a Jupyter notebook, which is also known as Google Colab. So here you can develop it and share it through your Google account, just like a document or a notebook. You can easily develop Python applications and share it with others. Okay, that service is provided by Google Colab. And then comes your Google App Engine. This is platform as a service. Using Google App Engine, you can develop any applications in any language. Okay, and share it. To develop and test applications easily, instead of downloading and installing the application development platforms in your system, you can directly access Google App Engine from your laptop or your computers, and you can develop and test your applications. That is about your Google App Engine. Okay, this is all about your cloud computing. Now we'll see about IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. Means any device that you connect to the internet becomes Internet of Things. Okay, see, because of the cloud, IoT is gaining popularity. When we say IoT components, see, these are the 4 types of components you can see in IoT. One is the device or sensors. Okay, then your connectivity to cloud, then data processing. Whatever the sensors collects the data, you will write an application to process, to work on the data, to extract some meaningful things, or to do certain tasks based on the data. Then comes your user interface. This is usually the application on your phone or your computer through which you can do certain tasks. Okay, these are the 4 components of IoT. Now we'll see some of the applications of IoT. The first one is the smart home. So in smart home, what you can see, you can use smart lighting. You might have seen in IT companies or even in your homes, there are some bulbs which has sensors in it. Okay, if you just move through towards the bulb, the light will switch on, and if there is no one in surrounding the bulb, then the light will automatically switch off, because it doesn't detect any motion nearby. So that is smart lighting. Then smart appliances. So you can there are AC, fridge, and washing machines recently launched, which can connect to the internet. Okay, so through your application on your cell phone, you can switch on or switch off your fans from a remote place, or you can open or close your fridge. You can check the status of your washing machine and many things. Okay, that's your smart appliances. Then comes your intrusion detection. The same thing, through the sensors you'll get the data if someone enters to your cell phones. Okay, that's intruder detection. Then smoke or gas detectors. It is widely used in IT and in developed countries. So if they detect any carbon dioxide, smoke, or anything, immediately it will send an alarm to security or to the fire engines or something. Okay, these are some of the uses of some of the applications of IoT in smart home. Now comes your smart city. In smart city, your IoT devices sensors can tell you where the parking is available in a mall. It can tell you where free slot is available to place your car. Then same smart lighting. Then smart roads, means CC cameras can record who is walking on the road. Then structural health monitoring, means you can see how strong the building is through the sensors. Then many more. Okay, that is about your smart city. Then comes your smart farming. See, here you can do smart irrigation, means you can automatically switch on or switch off your pumps based on the moisture level in the soil. Again, you'll have sensors placed in the soil that will tell the moisture level, and your application will decide when to switch on and switch off. You can manually also do it through the application on your cell phones. Okay, that's about your smart irrigation. Then monitoring climate conditions. Again, the sensors will do and give you the information about the climate conditions. Then the crop management, you can also detect weeds and many more things through this IoT application. So these are the very recent technologies which will gain its popularity in the coming days. Okay, then comes the agricultural drones. See, through drones you can put medicines to your plants, you can check the weeds, you can even harvest the crops and many more things. Okay, these are very advanced technologies and uses of IoT.